The grand hall of the Galactic Council shined with silver walls and floating lights. It was the place where the most powerful civilizations of the galaxy gathered. Planets with ancient empires, star nations with fleets that could burn whole systems. All of them sent their proud ambassadors to this hall. At the center was a huge round table made of dark crystal. Every ambassador sat around it, wearing the colors of their homeworlds. The air was filled with voices, some deep and booming, some sharp and high, as each race shared their concerns. Today was not just another meeting. It was a day when the council would decide which worlds would gain influence and which worlds would remain at the edge. Every ambassador wanted their voice heard. Every race wanted respect. But one voice had never been taken seriously, Earth's voice. When the human ambassador's name was called, a quiet laugh moved around the chamber. Several alien delegates leaned back in their chairs with smirks. Some even whispered to each other in their own languages, words that sounded like sharp mockery. The human ambassador stood up slowly. He was tall but not intimidating compared to others. His black suit looked plain against the glowing robes, shining armor, and rich fabrics of the alien delegates. He had no crown, no weapon, no glowing eyes. Just a human standing in front of giants. Honorable Council. He began in a calm voice. Earth greets you with peace. The moment he spoke, the hall erupted with laughter. A reptilian creature with golden scales slapped the table with its claw. Peace? It hissed, baring its teeth. You speak of peace, little human, when your world cannot even defend itself against a single fleet? Another alien with long crystal horns joined in, its voice echoing like breaking glass. Why should the council listen to a world that still burns oil in engines and kills itself with wars? The human ambassador's face did not change. He did not argue. He only looked at them with calm, steady eyes. One of the elders, a being made of pure light, spoke softly but with sharpness. Earth is young. Earth is fragile. Your kind is not ready for galactic affairs. You should remain silent until you have something real to offer. Again, the chamber filled with laughter and whispers. Notes were written down, votes were exchanged, and it seemed Earth would once again be dismissed. But while others laughed, the human ambassador stood in silence. He looked at each delegate one by one. His gaze did not show anger. It showed patience. It showed something deeper, something the other races could not understand. Why was he not defending his planet? Why was he not shouting like a desperate leader, begging for recognition? Why was he so calm? The silence stretched. Even the laughter began to fade. Some delegates grew uncomfortable. It was unusual for a representative of a mocked world to stay so composed. The reptilian delegate finally leaned forward, narrowing its eyes. Human, it growled. Do you not feel shame? Do you not feel the weight of your weakness before us? The ambassador's lips curved, just slightly, into the shadow of a smile. Shame, he said quietly. No, Earth knows what it is, and Earth knows what it is becoming. The words were simple, too simple. Yet something in his tone made a few ambassadors exchange uneasy glances. The council leader, an ancient being whose skin shimmered like liquid metal, tapped the table. Enough. We have heard Earth's greetings. Let us move forward. The session continued. Other planets spoke of alliances, wars, and trade routes. Plans were made for military patrols across sectors. Rich worlds argued over taxes. Old empires fought for more territory. And through it all, the human ambassador remained quiet, watching. Not once did he interrupt. Not once did he complain. His silence seemed strange in the middle of all the noise. One ambassador from the Andari Empire whispered to another. Why is he so calm? His world is nothing. Yet he sits like he carries a secret. The other shrugged. Perhaps he is too foolish to know fear. But the truth was different. Because the human ambassador was not what he seemed. When the council finally closed, the delegates began to leave. Some mocked Earth again as they passed. Some did not even bother to look at him. But a few could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Something about the way the human's eyes followed them. The way his silence carried weight. The The way he stood tall even in humiliation, it was unsettling. He should have looked broken. He should have looked defeated. But instead he looked patient, as if he was waiting, as if Earth was waiting. One of the younger delegates, curious and uneasy, stayed behind for a moment as others left. She approached the human ambassador cautiously. Her body was covered in silver feathers that shimmered like 1,000 small mirrors. "You did not defend your world," she said in a soft voice. "Why?" The human looked at her with calm eyes. For a second, she felt as though she was standing on the edge of a storm, quiet but powerful. "Because," he said, lowering his voice so only she could hear, "they are not ready for the truth." The young delegate froze. She wanted to ask what truth he meant, but the ambassador only gave her a polite nod and walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the hall. When he was gone, the young delegate's feathers bristled. She could not explain it, but her heart was uneasy. The laughter of the other ambassadors echoed in her memory, but so did the human's calm voice. They are not ready for the truth. What truth could Earth possibly hold? As the lights of the council hall dimmed, the young delegate realized something. For the first time in centuries, she felt fear, not of her enemies, but of a world that everyone dismissed as weak. And far away, back on Earth, in secret underground halls and hidden starports, something stirred. Ships, silent and black, waited in the dark. Engines that had not been revealed to the galaxy prepared for the day they would rise. The human ambassador walked out into the endless night of space with a quiet smile. The galaxy thought Earth was weak, but soon they would learn the truth. The Galactic Council met again the next cycle. This time, the chamber was louder, brighter, and filled with arrogance. The great civilizations of the stars gathered once more, but already their focus was not on trade, not on peace, not even on war. Their focus was Earth. The human ambassador had left them unsettled in the last session. His calmness had been strange. His silence had been heavier than 1,000 words. Now the council wanted answers, or at the very least they wanted entertainment. The reptilian delegate, Highclaw Vorash, was the first to speak when the meeting began. His scales glittered in the light as he stood, claws scraping against the table. "Council members," he hissed, "let us waste no more time pretending Earth matters. Their world is small. Their fleets are laughable. Their species has fought itself more times than I can count. And yet," his yellow eyes narrowed, "their ambassador sits among us as if he is equal, as if his voice carries weight." Several delegates chuckled. Some even clapped their hands or tapped their claws on the table. The crystal-horned representative of the Vayari Empire rose next, her voice sharp like breaking glass. "He insults this chamber with his silence. If Earth wishes to speak, then let them bring something of value. Not empty greetings, not false patience. Show us proof that you are more than children playing with fire." The laughter grew louder. The human ambassador sat still in his chair, hands folded, expression unreadable. He did not blink, did not shift, did not rise to defend himself. To the galaxy's oldest empires, this was weakness. But to a few, it was something else. The silver-feathered delegate from Part 1, the one who had heard his quiet words, watched closely. She saw no shame in his face, no fear, only that same quiet patience that haunted her since their last meeting. Why did he sit so calm, surrounded by voices that mocked him? The Elder of Light, one of the council's oldest beings, raised its glowing hand. The chamber dimmed as silence fell. "Earth," the Elder said, its voice like 100 whispers. "You are welcome here, but your place is small. You must know this. Our fleets span the stars. Our empires are older than your sun. Why do you continue to sit in silence? Why do you not admit your weakness?" The human ambassador finally stood. Slowly, calmly, every eye in the chamber followed him. When he spoke, his words were simple. Because Earth knows that words alone cannot prove anything. He paused. The silence stretched again. Then he added, "One day you will understand. It was not a threat. It was not loud. It was not even emotional, but it carried weight. The reptilian Vorash laughed so hard his teeth gleamed under the lights. Understand? Understand what? That your world still kills itself with fire and steel? That you launch tiny ships into orbit and call them fleets? You are dust among giants. Another delegate, a towering insectoid with wings that shimmered like stained glass, added with buzzing mockery. Perhaps Earth should remain a museum, a living display of what primitive life looks like. The laughter returned, louder, sharper. The chamber echoed with voices ridiculing Earth, mocking humans, dismissing their place in the stars. But again, the ambassador only watched. The silver-feathered delegate leaned forward, whispering to herself, "Why does he not break? Why does he not fight?" Vorash slammed his claw on the table once more. "Human, answer me. If your planet has any strength, show it now. Or leave this chamber and never return." Every eye turned to the human ambassador. He looked at Vorash. His voice was soft, calm, yet filled with something that made the laughter pause for a heartbeat. "You think Earth is weak because we do not roar," he said. "But sometimes silence is the loudest sound." A murmur spread across the chamber. Some rolled their eyes, some shook their heads, but a few frowned, troubled by the weight in his words. The Elder of Light tilted its head, as though studying him for the first time. Before more could be said, the council leader ended the session. "Enough. We have more urgent matters than mocking a young world. The discussion of Earth is over, for now." The chamber began to empty. Voices filled the halls again, mocking, laughing, dismissing. But not everyone laughed. The silver-feathered delegate lingered near the door, watching the human ambassador as he walked past. She felt the air shift when he passed, as though his presence carried gravity far beyond his size. She whispered after him, though he could not hear, "What are you hiding?" The human did not look back, but his faint smile told her enough. Whatever Earth was hiding, it was not small. It was something that could shake the galaxy. And deep in the shadows of space, fleets moved silently. Not alien fleets, not ancient empires, but ships built by human hands, hidden where no council eye could see. The galaxy laughed at Earth, but soon, their laughter would turn to silence. The Galactic Council had mocked Earth again and again. Their laughter still echoed across the great halls of power, carried on the voices of proud empires and ancient races. But far away from the shining chambers of the council, far away from their glowing cities and mighty fleets, there was silence. On Earth, beneath oceans, under mountains, and in the dark of space, humanity was building. The human ambassador who sat in the council was not only a diplomat. He was something more, something the galaxy had failed to notice. For years, while other races mocked Earth, while the galaxy dismissed humanity as weak and backward, humans were preparing in secret. Deep beneath the sands of the Sahara, hidden away from all satellites and alien eyes, there was a chamber larger than any city. Thousands of engineers worked in silence, building machines no alien had ever seen. Great engines roared, powering starships that had never been revealed. These ships were black as night. They carried no marks, no symbols. To alien scanners, they appeared as shadows, invisible in the darkness of space. Above them, in secret orbits, massive stations floated. They did not send signals. They did not appear on council records. But they were there, watching, waiting. The ambassador remembered the day it all began. Years ago, when the council first ignored Earth's voice, humanity understood a truth. The galaxy would not respect Earth. Not unless Earth gave it a reason. So humanity united. Nations that once fought each other set aside their wars. Old enemies became allies. Resources were gathered. Knowledge was shared. For the first time in history, humans were one. And in their unity, they became dangerous. Inside a hidden command center in the Rocky Mountains, generals and scientists stood before a giant screen. The ambassador himself had walked these halls before departing for the council. "Sir," one general had said, "the galaxy still thinks we are weak. They do not know what we have." The ambassador looked at the screen, where the image of a new weapon floated, a weapon so powerful, so precise, it could strike a ship from across a system. They do not need to know, he replied calmly. Not yet. The general frowned. Then when do we show them? The ambassador's eyes hardened. When they cross the line. When they forget that silence is not weakness, but preparation. Back in the council halls, the laughter continued. Aliens called Earth primitive, fragile, unworthy. But whispers had started. A few delegates noticed the human ambassador's calmness. They began to question. One night, in a private meeting chamber, the silver-feathered delegate confronted him again. Her eyes glimmered as she studied him. Human, she said quietly, I have watched you. You do not act like the representative of a weak world. You act like someone holding a secret. Tell me, what is Earth hiding? The ambassador looked at her. His expression was calm, but his words were sharp. Tell me, delegate, he said softly. If your world held a power the galaxy was not ready for, would you reveal it? Or would you wait until the right moment? She froze. She wanted to answer, but no words came. The ambassador leaned closer. His voice was almost a whisper. Do not mistake silence for weakness. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, something stirred. A human fleet moved silently across the void, hidden by technology no alien knew existed. Their ships carried weapons designed not for display, but for survival. These were not fleets meant to conquer, but fleets meant to ensure humanity would never kneel. One captain spoke over the comms. The council still laughs at us. Do we reveal ourselves? The answer came, steady and calm. No, not yet. The ambassador has not given the signal. We remain shadows. Back in the council, whispers grew louder. Some delegates began to sense it. There was something different about the humans. Something dangerous hidden beneath their silence. But most still laughed. Vorash, the reptilian, mocked them openly. I could crush your world with one fleet, he snarled across the chamber. Your kind survives only because the council finds you amusing. The ambassador only smiled. Perhaps, he said softly. The words angered Vorash even more. He slammed the table. Do you deny it? But the ambassador gave no answer. And in that silence, some felt fear. In a dark corridor after the meeting, the silver-feathered delegate found herself whispering again. What are you, human? What is your world hiding? This time, the ambassador turned and looked at her fully. I am Earth's voice, he said, but I am not its only face. Before she could ask what he meant, he walked away, leaving her trembling. Far away on Earth, in a hidden base beneath Antarctica, a chamber opened. Inside was not a ship, not a weapon, but something else. Something older, something powerful, something that had been discovered and then kept secret for decades. A technology so advanced, even the oldest races of the Council would not understand it. It pulsed quietly, as though waiting for the moment it would be unleashed. The galaxy still dismissed Earth. But soon the galaxy would learn the truth. Earth was not silent because it was weak. Earth was silent because it was ready. And the day was coming when that silence would break. The Galactic Council chamber was crowded once again. This time tension filled the air. Rumors had begun to spread among the delegates. Rumors about Earth. Whispers claimed that humans were not as weak as they seemed. Some said Earth had been hiding technology. Others dismissed it as foolish talk. But everyone had noticed one thing. The human ambassador never looked afraid. Today, the chamber would test him. Vorash, the reptilian warlord, rose to his feet, claws scraping against the table. His golden scales gleamed in the light as he hissed. Council members, we waste time allowing Earth a chair among us. I say we strip them of their seat until they prove their worth. Their silence is an insult to our council. The insectoid delegate buzzed in agreement. Yes, let them show us strength or leave forever. Voices erupted across the chamber. Some shouted for Earth to be expelled. Others mocked humanity as a child race. The laughter returned, sharp and cruel, echoing through the grand hall. Through it all, the human ambassador sat still. When the noise reached its peak, he finally stood. Slowly, deliberately, the laughter faded. All eyes turned toward him. His calm voice filled the chamber. You demand to know Earth's worth. You want to see what we are. Perhaps today, I will give you your answer. The words silenced even the loudest delegates. A strange tension spread. The silver-feathered delegate leaned forward, her feathers trembling. She had waited for this moment. Vorash snarled. Enough games, human. Show us who you really are, or leave this place in shame. The ambassador's lips curved into a faint smile. Very well, he said. For a moment nothing happened. Then, the air around him shifted. The lights above flickered. The table itself vibrated, as though something powerful had awakened. The ambassador raised his hand, and a projection appeared in the center of the chamber. Not a simple hologram, but a display far more advanced than anything the council had seen. A fleet of dark ships appeared in the image, massive vessels moving silently through the void, cloaked from scanners. Gasps echoed across the chamber. This cannot be, whispered the insectoid. These ships do not exist in our records, muttered another. Vorash growled, his claws digging into the table. Lies. Tricks. The ambassador's voice cut through the noise. These are Earth's fleets. Hidden. Silent. Watching. For years you believed we were weak. For years you laughed. While you mocked us, we prepared. He stepped closer to the center of the hall. His calmness was gone now, his voice carried steel. You see only one man standing before you, but I am not only a man. I am the result of Earth's unity. I am more than an ambassador. I carry the voice of billions, and the knowledge of weapons you cannot imagine. The council chamber was frozen in silence. The Elder of Light leaned forward, its glowing form flickering. What are you, human? The ambassador's eyes glimmered. I am Earth's warning. Gasps spread again. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The mocking laughter had vanished. The silver-feathered delegate whispered, her voice trembling. I knew it. I knew you were not what you seemed. The ambassador turned his gaze to her, and for a brief moment, she felt the full weight of his presence. It was as if a storm stood inside him, quiet but ready to break. Vorash slammed his claw down again, trying to regain control. So you have ships. Even so, Earth is nothing compared to empires that span 1,000 stars. The ambassador did not flinch. Instead, he pressed a device on his wrist. Another projection filled the chamber, this time of a weapon. A beam of energy tore through an asteroid the size of a moon, cutting it in half with precision. The hall erupted in shock. Some shouted in disbelief. Others demanded answers. The ambassador's voice rose above them all. You underestimate us because we are young. You think age equals strength. But youth is not weakness, it is hunger. It is will. It is the fire that old empires have lost. He looked around the chamber, meeting every eye. You think Earth is silent because it fears you. No, we are silent because we choose to be. But never mistake silence for weakness. Because when the silence ends, the galaxy will change. The chamber shook with the weight of his words. The council leader, the being of liquid metal, finally spoke, its voice heavy with unease. You reveal too much, human. You risk war. The ambassador's smile returned, calm once more. No, I prevent war. If you know what waits in the shadows, you will think twice before you mock Earth again. Silence stretched across the chamber. For the first time, no one laughed. No one mocked. Even Vorash's claws trembled slightly against the table. The silver-feathered delegate closed her eyes, her heart racing. She had feared this moment. Now she knew her fear was justified. Earth was not weak. Earth was dangerous. And its ambassador was no ordinary man. When the session ended, the ambassadors left in silence. But the galaxy itself had changed that day. The story of the human ambassador spread like fire. Some dismissed it as bravado. Others whispered in fear. And in the shadows of space, Earth's fleets continued to move silently, waiting. The identity of the ambassador had been revealed. Not just a diplomat, but a symbol. A living reminder that Earth was not to be underestimated. But this was only the beginning, because the warning he carried was not just words. The council chamber was no longer filled with laughter. The day the human ambassador revealed Earth's hidden power, everything changed. The galaxy could not forget what they had seen. Black fleets moving like shadows, weapons strong enough to cut a moon in half. For the first time, ancient empires who once mocked Earth now felt unease in their hearts. But fear breeds anger, and anger breeds danger. Vorash, the reptilian warlord, was the first to rise after the council's adjournment. His voice carried across his empire like fire. "Humans are liars," he roared to his generals. "Their fleets are tricks. Their weapons are illusions. They dare threaten the council itself. I will crush their world with my armies." His followers shouted in agreement. War drums echoed through his halls. But not everyone agreed. The silver-feathered delegate returned to her homeworld in silence. She looked at the stars and whispered to herself, "If Earth is truly this strong, then the galaxy must listen, or it will burn." At the next council session, the tension was heavy. No one mocked Earth now, but whispers filled the air. Some feared humanity. Others plotted against it. The council leader, the being of liquid metal, finally spoke. "Earth, you revealed fleets and weapons no one expected. But you must understand, such power shakes the balance of the galaxy. If you seek peace, prove it. If you seek war, say it openly." Every delegate turned to the human ambassador. He stood, his expression calm, his voice steady. "You mistake us," he said. "Earth does not seek war. Earth does not seek to rule. But Earth will no longer kneel. If you strike at us, if you try to silence us again, we will not forgive. We will not forget. And we will not fall." His words echoed through the hall like thunder. The insectoid delegate buzzed angrily. "Are you threatening the council itself?" The ambassador's eyes glimmered. "No. I am warning you," Vorash snarled, rising again. "You dare." But the ambassador raised a hand, and a projection filled the chamber once more. This time it was not a fleet, not a weapon, but something else. An image of Earth. Blue oceans, green forests, vast cities glowing with light, billions of human lives. The ambassador's voice grew softer, yet sharper. "This is what we protect. This is why we endure. We will not let anyone take it from us. We will not let anyone enslave us. If you think we are weak, test us. But know this." His eyes locked with Vorash's, burning with quiet fire. "Earth does not break." The chamber was silent. For a moment, even the proudest empires had no words. The Elder of Light leaned forward. "You speak boldly, human. Too boldly. You risk uniting the galaxy against you." The ambassador did not flinch. "If the galaxy unites to destroy us, we will fight until the last star burns. If you doubt it, then look into your own histories. Every empire here was built by struggle. Every race here survived their dark ages. So did we. But unlike you, we remember." His words carried weight. Ancient civilizations shifted uncomfortably, remembering their own violent pasts, the wars they preferred to forget. The human continued. "You call us young, but youth means hunger. Youth means courage. Youth means we still carry fire in our hearts. That fire will not die." The silver-feathered delegate's voice finally broke the silence. "You do not want war, and yet your words sound like war." The ambassador turned toward her. His expression softened. "No, they sound like truth. Earth seeks peace, but peace is only possible when strength is respected. If you dismiss us, you risk more than your pride. You risk the galaxy itself." A shiver ran through the chamber. Vorash snarled again, but his voice lacked the strength it once carried. The other delegates were no longer laughing with him. They were thinking. They were afraid. After the session, chaos spread across the galaxy. Some empires began strengthening their fleets, preparing for the possibility of war with Earth. Others sent spies to uncover human secrets, desperate to know how far Earth's technology had advanced. But some worlds, the younger ones, whispered in hope. "Maybe Earth is like us," they said. "Maybe Earth will stand for those who cannot stand for themselves." Hope and fear spread together, like twin shadows. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, leaders gathered in secret halls. The ambassador spoke with them directly through a secure channel. "They are beginning to understand," he said calmly. A general frowned. "Or they are beginning to fear. Fear leads to war." The ambassador nodded slowly. "That is why we must choose carefully. The galaxy is watching. If we misstep, they will strike. If we remain patient, they will learn." "Learn what?" the general asked. The ambassador's eyes narrowed. That Earth's silence was never weakness. It was a warning. In the dark of space, human fleets continued their silent watch. Pilots whispered to each other as they stared at distant stars. "They still don't believe we're ready," one said. "They will," another replied. "When the day comes, they will." Back in the council, the ambassador's final words from that session still echoed in every mind. Earth does not break. The galaxy had been warned. The galaxy had been warned. The words of Earth's ambassador echoed through every empire, every throne room, every fleet command. Earth does not break. Some races dismissed the words as bravado. Others took them as prophecy. But no one could forget them. In the days that followed, chaos spread across the stars. Vorash, the reptilian warlord, prepared his armies. He could not accept a young world standing equal to him. His fleets gathered, hungry for conquest. But he was not alone. Other empires whispered in shadows, debating whether to destroy Earth before it grew too powerful. Yet something unexpected happened. The younger worlds, the ones always silenced, mocked, and ignored by the great empires, looked at Earth differently. They saw hope. "If Earth can rise," they whispered, "maybe we can too." For the first time in centuries, the galaxy's balance began to shift. At the next council meeting, the chamber was heavy with tension. Delegates sat in silence, waiting for the human ambassador to arrive. When he entered, he carried no crown, no weapon, no shining robes, just the same plain black suit. Yet now no one laughed, no one mocked. Every eye followed him with quiet respect and fear. The council leader, the being of liquid metal, spoke first. "Ambassador of Earth, the galaxy has heard your words. Some see them as a warning. Others see them as a threat. Tell us now, what is it you seek?" The ambassador looked around the chamber. His calm voice carried across the hall. "Earth seeks what it always has, peace. But not the peace of silence, where the strong mock the weak. Not the peace of fear, where empires crush smaller worlds. We seek a new peace. A peace where every world, young or old, has a voice." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some delegates nodded. Others frowned. The insectoid delegate buzzed nervously. "And if we refuse this peace? If we choose the old ways?" The ambassador's eyes glimmered with steel. "Then Earth will not stand alone. Others will rise beside us. And together, we will remind you that the age of mocking voices is over." The silver-feathered delegate stood, her feathers trembling with emotion. "He speaks truth. We have lived too long under the pride of old empires. It is time for change. Perhaps Earth is the beginning of that change." Her words shocked the hall. For a delegate to openly support Earth, it was unheard of. But others began to stir. Younger worlds, smaller empires, voices that had always been silenced. One by one, they began to agree. And slowly, the laughter that once mocked Earth was replaced by something new: recognition. Vorash roared in fury, his claws slamming the table. "You fools! Do you not see? Humans are dangerous. If they rise, they will consume us all." The ambassador turned to him, calm as ever. "No, Vorash, we do not seek to consume. We seek to survive. But if survival means fighting warlords like you, then we will fight." His voice hardened. "And we will win." For the first time, Vorash did not answer. His growl faded into silence. The Elder of Light finally spoke, its glowing form flickering with thought. "Perhaps the galaxy stands at a turning point. Perhaps Earth is not weakness, but a new beginning." The ambassador bowed his head slightly. The beginning of a new era. Outside the council, whispers spread faster than light. A new order was rising. An order where Earth was no longer dismissed, no longer mocked. A world once considered fragile had become the center of change. Across the stars, fleets that once watched silently now moved openly, showing their banners to the galaxy. Human ships no longer hid in shadows. They stood in the light, ready to defend, ready to lead. On Earth itself, people looked to the skies with pride. They knew their world was no longer ignored, no longer weak, no longer silent. Children pointed to the stars and said, "One day, I will fly there." And now no one laughed. Back in the council, the human ambassador gave his final words before leaving the chamber. "You dismissed Earth's voice. You mocked our silence. But now you know the truth. We are not silent because we are weak. We were silent because we were waiting. And now our era begins." The chamber fell into silence. No one laughed. No one mocked. For the first time, the galaxy listened. And so began the new era. An age where Earth rose from the shadows, no longer dismissed, but feared, respected, and remembered. It was only the beginning, because humanity's voice would echo across the stars forever.